Hello, guys, and welcome to the Evening Constitution. I am your host, as always, Ryan with Gun Cody, and with us today, as always, is our co-host, Mr. Pew Pew Paul. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, great to be back. Great to be here. Hope you're having a great evening.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, nice late
Yeah,
night broadcast, no problem with that. But that's what we got to
yeah,
do when we're trying to get the family to bed, so we can do things on the internet.
fucking right. Yeah.
So, since
So,
we had our
what's
last
what?
show,
Uh-huh.
which was I don't know, toward the end of last week, uh, some interesting things have happened. Yesterday, Joe Biden announced via tweet that
Mm-hmm.
he is stepping down from the Democratic National Convention nomination, and
Uh,
we have the letter pulled up here.
it's no
Um,
surprise, I don't think, for anyone, man.
no,
It's
no, this was
uh,
completely expected after the attempted assassination on former President Trump, and suddenly Slow Joe was diagnosed with COVID, and no one's seen him. And he puts out this letter that you guys should be able to see on stream right now. If you can't, I'll just go ahead and read it. It says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. I'm not sure what that one is. Appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once in a century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our
what?
democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been in my intention to seek re election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today, what I always have, that there is nothing Americans can't do. When we do it together, we just have to remember we are the United States of America." And there's
Huh.
this really sus signature on the bottom.
Well, that, yeah. Not just to mention, not just the signature sus, but during you reading that, it's a good thing you did read it because it didn't really make a great amount of sense. He said the economy was the best ever or something to that extent. What the fuck? The inflation's at all. What does he mean? What kind of metric is he using to measure economical performance here? I mean, and yeah, the signature is wild. What was the gun thing he said? He said
I
that they
I
brought
have no
about gun
idea.
control. What's he in reference to? What was it? The first what? Huh?
I
That
don't
was
know. I don't know if anything
yeah.
when it comes to gun laws that Joe Biden has actually passed that the courts haven't shut down. So uh, your guess is as good as mine, buddy.
Well, I think Joe didn't write this, and yeah, the signature. If we compare it to others, I would say at a blind guess is gonna look different because not just the cognitive decline, but like the fact is he's not signing it or he's having someone like help him sign it is my personal hunch. It looks like it says Le Blanc or something. What does it say down there? Like Le Bouteur, like
I
Le
don't know. It's
Bouteur.
really sus because I don't think there's I was watching a comparison of the different signatures we've seen from Joe Biden,
Yeah,
and the big sus part is this underline under where it's supposed to say Biden. That's new.
right.
We've not seen
Oh,
that
that's
before.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's weird because I didn't even know what Biden's signature looked like, but as soon as you pulled it up, I was kind of like, that looks a little bit. It looks a bit out of place. It does look a little sus.
Yeah, yeah. To me, it's extraordinarily sus. I want to know what's going on. Um, if you've been
uh,
on X uh, through the afternoon, there's a lot of speculation that Biden is. Now, I don't want to drive into the speculation because I think that if he were actively dying or dead already, that
well,
there would be impossible for them to hide it. But there's a lot of rumors on X that are saying that Joe Biden is either in terminal decline or is already dead, and we have like a the death of
into that.
Stalin type of situation.
I've been out all afternoon. I didn't check my ex. So
Yeah,
what? So you're saying people they think that Biden is dead now?
even some Congress people, some of the very vocal ones like Bober, are calling
You're right.
for a video or him to be in front of a camera to show signs of life from
No
Joe Biden.
way. When were the last signs of life? When did they let him out of the basement? What was the last
Last
like?
week, before the
No
COVID
way.
announcement. Yeah. So
Joe's maybe sadly passed away then. Holy fuck.
I don't think that they
Wow.
could hide that. I think that it's one of those things that would immediately leak. So I'm not really buying it. You know what I mean?
But how would we know? I mean, they've got him behind 1,000 layers. If he did croak, how would you know unless he does? And if they do have body doubles, if there
I
have
think
been used
someone would leak it.
doubles,
I really do.
right?
I think that instantly someone would be passing leaked information to some news outlet for a whole lot of money. I don't think that they could possibly hide that. So, in my opinion, the idea that Joe Biden is no longer amongst the living is
Yeah.
uh, foobar.
I'd bet you on the dollar on it, man. Honestly, I think he's dead. I think he croaked, and they can't leak it due to the severity of it. Probably a handful know. It's like 1 in 20 people or something actually know the truth right now. And or they've bullshitted them and said Joe's passed away. We don't tell anyone yet. Like we're about to break the news
How could they
because they.
possibly keep it quiet?
I don't know, man. But how, these Democrats, they're inside that. They were fucking in the thing. They leaked the security cameras thing. They were fucking in the room. Don't forget. Let's not forget that. How much weird shit's been going on? They found cocaine in the White House. Under this administration, who knows, man? Who knows who's compromised? I wouldn't trust any of them. I'd say it all smells to shit, you know?
Yeah, but they
And
all like
yeah,
money. You know what I mean?
I don't know if the news has got enough. Yeah, but they all like their freedom as well. Money doesn't mean shit if you're going to jail, right? So they got to get out of this. That's what I'm saying. If it has actually happened, Democrats are in a fucking complete shambles. Their team is,
Yeah,
all over the
chaos and panic.
total chaos, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of say to all of them, right, we know you were fucking in the back room. We know you've been doing coke. We know you've been doing this. You've been doing that. All right, everyone, just keep shut the fuck up. We got this emergency situation type meeting going on, and Kamala is appointed. Obama is in the background, on Skype or something. Hillary's there.
Now, speaking of this, let me see
Yeah,
if I can find it. This has been on Twitter too. Let's see if we can find it real fast. There's a video
sure.
of Kamala almost saying recording when she was supposedly talking to. Here it is. Let's
Let's run this.
yeah.
I wanna see it.
Let's run this because this is
It
pretty interesting. Let me blow it up so everybody can see it. And we're just so everybody knows that usually watches us on X. Today we are actually using Restream. We're trying it out because it's supposed to be some really awesome software. So we are actually live streaming to both YouTube and to X at the same time. And as you know, YouTube has a lot more rules than X does. So
Right.
it is what it is.
So we gotta be careful, guys. We can't. There won't be any firearms really. We'll be talking about gun policy, but
Yeah,
we won't
we'll
be
be talking about gun policy. We won't be talking about other things, but if you visit her X profile, you can find some deals on things.
On thanks. We
Things.
can't say what thanks on things and
Thanks.
thanks. Yeah. There won't be anything like that. But X profile has much more cooler shit on it. Of course,
Her
you just
X
have to go to
profile
X.
is banging.
Yeah, it's banging, man.
But
all right, let's see this.
yeah. Let's get into this right here so we can expand upon the conspiracy.
So good
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice.
There
we
it was.
love Joe and Jill.
All right.
Okay,
Listen
you
carefully.
and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice, president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
Right there. Did you catch it? She said, Joe, we know you're still on the actually, I was going to say recording, and all of a sudden, she stops herself and says on the call. So that to me is quite interesting.
Could have been quite, to play devil's advocate.
Or is it
they
just
could
because
have
she's
been,
an idiot?
Yeah, they could have just been like pre-preparing shit with Joe because he was pooping himself all the time, and like maybe everything has been pre-recorded for quite a while because he can't handle it live. He goes off, he goes off into the weeds. If he is dead, then it wouldn't surprise me. That's what I'm saying. I bet you a dollar he is
honestly,
dead.
I wouldn't be surprised either at this point because we live in it's a clown show. and ever since the failed attempted assassination of Donald Trump, it has been just a crapshoot for the Democrats. They are imploding, and it's
They did not go well. Everything after that, if there was an assassination attempt, whatever happened there, it didn't go well. It didn't go to plan. If there is, a deep state or whatever is going on there, it hasn't gone to plan. They're in a shambles. And if Joe's just croaked as well, that's the final nail in the coffin, I think. Excuse the pun. But yeah, like if Joe's sadly not with us anymore, who's going to step in? They really don't have it. I think it's Clinton. I think it's Hillary. Because maybe she's too old to do it now.
Well, I guess Kamala has clinched enough of the delegates that she needs from the Democratic Party to get the nomination.
Right. So we're going to be dealing with a woman. Okay. Yeah, I'm not as up to date as you, man. But like Kamala, she doesn't make sense. She doesn't make any fucking sense. She keeps on talking and doing these like word salad speeches that make no sense. What's it going to be like when she's actually in presidential role? Is she capable to do it?
No.
If she's getting so many votes, you would think so, but yeah. I don't think she's capable to do it.
She's completely incapable of doing it. That's it. And now we had the comical grilling of the head of the Secret Service today. And
oh yeah,
I listened to, before I had other things to do, I listened to about the first hour of this woman, and it was just, to me, a complete disaster for the Secret Service. She essentially answered nothing, and even AOC has been blasting her. Yeah.
Even the barmaid extraordinaire. Yeah. No way, bro.
Yeah. When you're getting clobbered by AOC, then things are not going well for you. But we do have a portion of
like where AOC turned on one of their own, which is she genuinely just puts her foot in her mouth and makes completely asinine comments. But yeah, I want to see this one too, man.
Yeah, let me get this blown up.
You got it all.
I keep hitting the wrong button. Because I'm.
Oh, here it is. I see Cheadle.
Yeah,
she always reminds me of Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's she's either completely incompetent or she's just falling on the sword. You know what I mean? But let's check this video out. It's about 5 minutes, but it's worth watching in its entirety. So here we go, guys, and we'll get some feedback from Paul on this because I don't think you've seen this yet, have you, Paul?
Seen a little clip earlier, yeah, just before I joined the stream.
All right, well here we go.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Fallon from Texas.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice pick the absolute best location to
Oops.
assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it? Director Cheadle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence that you could stop a trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have
I know they're
answers
questions,
to.
but you know, the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Okay. So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full complement of security based on the threat assessment that we had.
That's not my
and
question.
the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting president, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the sitting
So he didn't.
president
So your answer is he didn't.
and continuity of government and the responsibility
So he
that we
did
have.
not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team, a full CAT team on site. There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling as it is chilling. We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds. Have you visited the site?
No, I have not.
9 days and you have not visited the site. You should have been there that night. Did you talk to, that evening, did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational work.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with.
You called them the very next day, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after. You waited 3 days. What is immediately clear is that there are a number of structures that need to be secured. Of these, Director, other than the first, immediate 4, what's the most dangerous site that should have been secured? Because Security 101, you got to mitigate the high ground.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the next most dangerous site, what was the closest structure to the president, other than the 4 immediate ones that you had your counter sniper teams on?
There are a number of structures around that event site.
You know who the shooter knew? The shooter has visited the site 2 more times than you have, and he had a drone, and he picked the AGR building. So you said, do you remember in an ABC interview you did that you didn't have people on the roof of the AGR building because you were worried about safety because of the slope?
I recall that statement.
Okay. Does the Secret Service have written policy you can share with us about slope roofs?
No.
Okay. So why'd you act like there was one? Because is it your practice to comment on enormous events of enormous national
It's
implications
wild, bro.
when you're ignorant of the facts?
Share with us about slope roofs.
That's rhetorical. So here's the thing with the
This
slopes.
is insane.
You go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. All the law enforcement I've spoken with over the last 9 days are amazed that the AGR rooftop was not secure. And you want to know why? Because it's dangerous. I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Comparator's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous, it was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
All right, buddy. Let's get your reaction to that, and while I take care of something here real quick. But tell me, just go over what you think is going on here.
I mean, he said it all. I think the burning question on everyone's minds here is, why is she in charge? Why is that the best? Why is tax dollars being spent on that? Why was she given executive control? Why? Who decided on that? Why was she the best, the cream of the crop to defend the president, the ex-president, the president of the United States, the soon-to-be president of the United States? Why on earth is she even allowed to sit there and say about this slope? How is it allowed to get that far? Okay? It's getting to the point of complete insanity where you cannot even explain the position where, why is she in the executive role? He made some really great points there. He said he didn't shoot his AR for a long period of time, 6 years, I think, and went out and tried to take the shot and made a 95%, 96% or so accuracy, right? So with some training, yeah, it's an absolute miracle how Trump's still alive. He's meant to be here, however you want to say it. You know,
when you're looking at the ballistics of things, when you're thinking about the rifle that was used, a red dot, an untrained shooter, but even with an untrained shooter, you know, it's not too hard with a rifle to hit a target at 130 yards. The fact that it didn't split his grape is, in my opinion, divine intervention. That's the only way I can explain it, or just an incredible amount of luck.
Call it whatever you want. Exactly, but
want.
he's here. He got a second chance, right? Call it however you want, however if you have a faith or whatever, you know, God intervened, or it's just nature, he's just lucky, right? A spin of the wheel, like he flipped the coin and he came up top trumps. But the point being, why was this boy able to take surveillance? Why was he able to get in here? He made a great point. The rooftops are ADA compliant. If anyone listening doesn't know what it means it's disability compliant.
That was the weakest excuse I've ever heard. I mean, you can look at the rooftops that the counter sniper team's on, were on, and they were significantly more of a slope than what the shooter used.
I can't believe that is allowed to stand up, and I think she should have been dismissed immediately. 3 days! 3 days to check in. He said something like, the gunmen have been to the location more times than her. She's done pretty much nothing. It's a dismissal, it's an investigation, it's more than that. It's looking into the whole department. Why was she able to take the executive position there? Why was she given all of this oversight? Why is it her that everyone's reporting to? The same thing, you're bringing up AOC now. The same thing's going to happen. Do you not catch that vibe when you hear AOC talking? How did you end up there? Why are you there? You're not qualified for the role. You shouldn't be in the position. She ends up getting into circular discussions, logical fallacies, talking double speak, going around and around. And same kind of excuses and nonsense rhetoric gets to the end of it. There's no point in what they're saying. Get in the kitchen, make a sandwich. You'll have a point then, You're actually going to do something with your day. This malarkey, or whatever you want to call it, this complete fucking mess of trying to have career women go to the top of these heights, which obviously they can't operate in. Their executive function, their EF, however you want to call it. Yeah, you have IQ and the EQ. They always tell us about this, and that women are higher in the EQ apparently. You have executive function, the EF, right? These acronyms they love to chuck around. So if you have a high IQ, apparently you're going to be good in the role of any executive function, right? And then they try and split that and say, if you don't have a high IQ and a high EQ, emotional quota, you're going to suck. Well, what the fuck is the score of these people that are running these things? Do they have the high emotion and the high IQ, or is they just emotional beings? Because being an emotional being, worrying about slopes, talking about policies you don't agree with, garbage dispensers you don't like the look of, trash dispensers, these things that she's, the AOC's gone on various tirades over the days. It all amounts to like, is she doing her fucking job? Is she fucking useful? I don't think so. I would
No.
never vote for her. She will never get my approval. It's AOC. She's a joke. She's an actress, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. It may not be fact. It's just my opinion. Let's run the next clip, man. Let's see what.
Let's see what AOC has, because I've not watched this video at all, because I typically try to avoid everything AOC. But let's see what she has to say here.
Let's see.
So the notion of a report coming out in 60 days when the threat environment is so high in the United States, irrespective of party, is not acceptable. And I think it's very important to understand that. This is not theater. This is not about jockeying. This is about the safety of some of the most highly targeted and valued targets internationally and domestically in the United States of America. So the idea that a report will be finalized in 60 days, let alone prior to any actionable decisions that would be made, is simply not acceptable. It has been 10 days since an assassination attempt on a former president of the United States, regardless of party. There need to be answers. Again, this party, this committee, this is not a moment of theater. We have to make policy decisions, and we have to make them now. We do. And that may be that may require legislation. That may require policy that we must pass in the immediate term. And without that, we are flying blind. So the lack of answers and the lack of report is just simply not something that we can accept here. Director Cheadle, is there a standard perimeter that the Secret Service establishes around an event, or are those perimeters independently determined per event and scenario?
There is no standard. Every event and every venue is different and treated as such.
So each event has a different perimeter that is established depending on the logistics of that event. Now, you established earlier that the building upon which the shooter operated from was outside of that established perimeter, correct, for the Butler, Pennsylvania event?
It was outside of our secure perimeter, yes.
Now, that building was, I believe, 500. How far away was that building from the president?
It was approximately 200 yards.
200 yards. Now, the individual used an AR-15 in order to act out his assassination attempt. An AR-15 has a range of about 400 to 600 yards. My question is, why does the Secret Service perimeter, why is the Secret Service protective perimeter shorter than one of the most popular semi-automatic weapons in the United States?
There are a number of weapons out there with a number of ranges. Again, an advance was completed. The determination of the perimeter, I'm not going to speak to specifics,
This is
but
just
there are a
word
number of
salad from
factors
her
that are taken
talking about
into account when we
the
determine our
perimeter.
perimeter. Some of it has to do
I
with
think she was
terrain,
pretty
some of it
close.
has
That
to do
wasn't
with
too
buildings,
bad.
some of it
I
has
was
to do
about
with
to,
assets
sorry, to
and
interject there. I think
resources,
AOC was
that are
actually trying to make
available.
a salient
And
point.
so
She was trying to say
what
that,
I'm- what I'm
if the
hearing
AR-15
is that-
has an operational range of, 400, 600 yards, why are they not thinking of the perimeter? And I think she's kind of maybe being pre-coached by someone, or she is trying to look at the logical answer here, is that she could also fall prey to the same fuckery, right? So everyone has to be unified here, whether you're bipartisan or not, whether you're Dem, a Republican, or a third party, independent. You could still be a target of these things, and the Secret Service is there to protect you, right? I mean, they all get crazies. We know for sure AOC and these people, anyone in the public eye, they get crazies, they get stalkers, whatever. AOC's maybe a little bit more sensitive to it. I've seen her flip out being called a big booty Latina. you know, on some YouTube, on the viral clip. She's extremely sensitive to it. So maybe it's triggered in her brain that, holy fuck, someone tried to take a shot at the president here. And yeah, like really, are we doing our job? So yeah, it
Yeah, she's
was.
probably thinking about her own safety at this point. Like, is the Secret Service this incompetent? Can they protect me? And I would
Yeah.
say that the answer is no, because the type of agents that you're going to get to protect a congresswoman are going to be even lower quality than what you have to protect
Right.
a presidential figure.
I think that's where it's hitting home. And that's where that's what I'm feeling. Because Elsie also looks like in a shambles. Hair's a mess. She looks a mess. She may have been told, you know, by her boyfriend before coming on, don't go too hard on gun control here. I was surprised to see Republican Jamie Ruskin. I was watching last night. He was talking just moments prior to this, you know, to this. I think maybe on this hearing or just before, and yeah, he was bringing the whole gun control thing into it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was bringing
yeah.
he was
They
bringing
can they can beat
again,
this gun control horse all they want to. The American people aren't buying it. That ship has sailed. That's not going to happen. The Supreme Court's not going to let that happen. Just the Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America. There is no room for that, and you're not going to be able to convince Americans, especially after what is supposed to be the most elite protective service
right
in the country fails
in the world,
to
possibly
in the world possibly
in the world.
fails to protect the front running Republican candidate for presidency. Um, and even after watching the interview or portions of it with the head of Secret Service, I'm not sure if this is incompetence, conspiracy, or if it's incompetence and conspiracy, and now a whole lot of
Mixed
people are
with-
in now a whole lot of people are in a bad way, and there's going to be a
I
lot of sword falling, a lot of falling on swords going on.
falling on swords. Yeah, I believe so. I think so. I think that the whoever put these people in position, it's the same strategy of the harmless knob, of the as you call them, the useful fools,
Useful
the
idiots.
putting
Yeah.
the morons, useful idiots. Sorry, yeah, put the useful idiots in charge and sort of stand back and know that the music is going to come crashing down if you leave that as the conductor of the band. They're going to start playing a very strange tune indeed. But as the hidden hand, as whoever put these people there, why was she the leader of this thing? How can it get to the point that she has to be called up? Sorry, to go back to Cheadle, right? How is she the leader of the whole security thing? Why is she the elect? Isn't there a shit ton of people out there which are specialists in this field?
Who are far more
right?
qualified than guarding a
Would
Pepsi
be
plant.
would have done a far better job. When the president comes to town, you know, there's a whole bunch of local law enforcement which were doing, I expect, the best job they could do, right? Like, I've seen interviews with them, and they radioed in that there was a guy on the roof. One of their units was being, one of their operators was being lifted up. And he lifted himself up onto the roof, and he's seen the boy up there prone. He's seen the shooter, right? Matthew. He's seen him on there, and he got the rifle pointed at him. So he radioed it in on an open channel. He did radio it in on an open channel, and nothing was done about it. A huge investigation
let's
needs
not
to go
forget
down.
the number of people in the crowd that were watching that
As
pointed
well.
out the shooter
Reports.
for several minutes before he made the attempted shot. I mean, this is just a.
I'm sure it's
I
covered
don't know if
ground
there's
now, what was-
words. Yeah. I don't know if there's words
know.
to describe this. Of course, they asked the head of Secret Service about all this. She dodged all the questions. She said a whole lot of words to that meant nothing. She knows nothing. She
It's
sees
not-
nothing. Now, I did notice, like toward the end of the hearing, she seemed pretty beat down, and had given up and was being a little more free with her answers. I think she just lost the drive to keep up the charade, or just ran out of excuses, and finally decided, well, you know, I'm caught. This cat's out the bag. because she seemed utterly and totally defeated by the end of it.
Keep in mind, if she is the harmless, useful idiot, that she's been led to this, hoodwinked to this, and has no idea that it was a fuck up. She's probably been told or coached by someone that, and that not having the perimeter, that the elevated position wasn't a concern, that the answer for the slope, where is that being fed from? Because if she's just picking that clean out of the air, like that is her honest answer to this, we know she was woefully ignorant, that she should never have been in this position of command. So we know that it's down to complete incompetence. Well, I want to double check that. That's what I want to know about her.
But was
is that
she
how
put
can
in there
be
because she's incompetent
well,
for this reason?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
yeah.
the question.
You're bang on it, man. That's what I'm saying. Is that she's put there? Who is it? Who is the who? Who is the them?
Who's the
Why would
who?
that be the case? You get what I mean? Like, why would there be a completely incompetent security situation unless it's a third party, right? It isn't the Republicans. It's not the Democrats. It's a hidden hand of another nation that wants to come in and take control. Ever thought about that? Ever thought that it could be a fucking, another country, another philosophy inside, rotting away at everything, at the educational establishments, entertainment, across the borders? Yeah, maybe there's something going on here, which we're just seeing the very tippity top of the iceberg, is that it's not a
That's something
bipartisan
too.
issue.
Imagine
Right.
if the person who tried to shoot Trump in Pennsylvania, imagine if
Yeah.
that person was a trained foreign national special forces operator.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have
Or
missed?
trained by. Say he was trained by or in cahoots with. Yeah. No one's talking about that. No
Yeah.
one's talking, and they knew that was in it.
We have the three foreign accounts now that have been revealed. Why are those there? Why are those there? I want to know more about that too, but I suspect that a lot of the questions that we have about what happened in Pennsylvania and about this attempted wannabe assassin are going to go completely unanswered. They are going to want to bury this deeper than the Kennedy assassination.
But they can in the modern era of X. Now that we live
gonna be
in this
hard.
paradigm now, the narrative's changed. The timeline has changed. We have our freedom of speech, and we can talk about it.
It's
and
not
keep talking
1963 anymore.
Yeah, and we can keep banging and banging and banging on about it until the point is driven home that it's incompetency to have a security protocol like this. There was no reason that this could happen. The kid scoped the place up with a rangefinder.
He had
Let's
a
keep banging
drone.
on.
He had a drone in the air too.
A drone, like what kind of security do we take on this? Every
And
American should be deputized.
Here's something that really blew my mind about the hearing too, is that the head of the Secret Service admitted that there were aerial assets at this rally for Trump. If there were aerial assets, how in the world did an aerial asset miss an individual crawling across a rooftop 130 yards away for
Dude,
3
look at a coyote hunt
minutes?
compared to, do you know what I mean? There's field cleaning operations which are going smoother than in terms of the security on this. How the fuck did it happen, man? Like there could have been local huntsmen or something that it could have been put on security. If they really can't find someone that can do the job, surely they could have paid. They've got the money, they've got the tax dollars, they keep printing more of it. They've got the resources. How big is the budget of the department? It's in the billions and billions of dollars, right? They had the money to do it. It's not like they don't have the resources to do it. They had enough guns on site as well. They had the 3 sniper teams, right? So it's looking like a stand down is what they're talking about. That's what I've seen a lot of accounts talking about,
That's
is
what
that
it
they
looks like
stood
to
down.
me. There was some video on X earlier where a reporter, an independent journalist, I think, went to the site, and from one of the same buildings that the counter sniper team was in, and from the second floor, looking out the window, could easily see the entirety of the rooftop from where the shooter made his attempt. So you're
Mm.
telling me that no one noticed this guy or could see him when they were being warned for 3 minutes until after this dude took the first shot. I'm not buying it.
What were they looking? They were watching the speech, really? Seriously?
Yeah, what were they doing? Now I know they
They were
have their
just checking.
zones further out that they have to cover,
Right.
but
Right. Okay. Okay.
but it's
Maybe
pretty. I get that, but it's still pretty easy. You're still going to be checking outside of your zone. You're still going to be looking with your Mark 1 eyeball, and
Yeah.
at 130 yards, you're going to be able to see some. You're going to be able to see retardy Oswald trying to slink his way across the roof with a rifle. You're going to notice that. Because what
You're gonna
are
see
humans
it.
most sensitive to? Movement. You're going to
Yeah,
see
but
the
why-
movement on the roof, and you're going to
Why is-
know that no one's supposed to be there.
There's such a breakdown in the whole order of the things here is that there were reports coming in from members of the public. So that report just needed to be escalated. It's a very quick thing if, along the line of command. It's just saying, we've got a reporter on a rooftop here, put it out on the channel. Oh, I got eyes on that. Yep, I see him. All right, send someone down to go talk. Is it really that was like 5 seconds of, voice comms there? Is it really possible it could have took more than a minute to get the message out on a public channel, on wide open channels, which everyone was listening to if they were following protocol? So it's like, yeah, it does really leave you with a head scratcher
Stinks.
on how it ever get to that potential, and the fact that they're so quick to now, again, to mention, not to keep mention, make him too famous. We all know him, Jamie Ruskin. He's coming straight with gun control off this, and that's a Republican that want to come off this with,
That's
it should be
Rhino.
more control. Sorry.
That's a rhino. 100%.
That's a rhino if I've ever seen one, yeah. Now, he's coming in straight away saying that it wouldn't have happened if the boy couldn't access the rifle. Bullshit. Like, total bullshit. If everyone had done their job, then we can't have a policing where it's like the UK, where, everything's locked up in bubble wrap and that. Does that work? Look at what just happened in the UK.
Well,
Look at all the violent crime
Nobody
in the UK.
mentions
Look at
too
how-
the homemade explosive that he had. He had an improvised explosive device in his car, and a detonator.
Right.
Now, actually, this is pretty funny. My dad likes to spill out conspiracies every now and then. I was talking with him earlier, because we
what's
were
up,
over
man?
there celebrating my daughter's birthday today. She's a big 5 for all those that are curious, and if you tell her happy birthday, I will be sure to show her the messages, and she will greatly enjoy that because she's a introvert of sorts. But he's definitely the conspiracy type about this, and he absolutely believes that this was conspiracy and that the incompetence was set up to give some cover for the conspiracy, to try and hide it with incompetence.
Definitely. I'm with that. That's where I'm coming from, and that's why I think it's actually they've
Yeah.
got us all tangled up in a bipartisan disarray, and they knew it.
Yeah.
We're gonna point at each other and say Democrats did it.
And when it comes
Inside
to the shooter in particular, he expressed to me his idea of the conspiracy behind that, which is much like some of the conspiracies with Oswald, was that
Right.
whoever is actually behind this was telling the shooter, like, hey, this is how it's going to go down. You're going to take the shot at the president. You're going to make a distraction with the improvised explosive that's in your vehicle, and then you're going to get away while everyone's distracted by that explosive.
Like a scene
when-
on the heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To give the guy, the thought that he's going to be able to get away with this, that he's going to be able to escape, not knowing that the people that are doing this from the very beginning are going to make sure that he is no longer able to speak about anything, and that he was just gullible enough to believe it, which is probably what happened to Oswald.
They were Platsies, yeah. Now, apparently he wasn't bullied, and he had a friend group, and like he was, there was like a sort of a
Everyone's
missed
bullied.
story, a misreporting of saying he was bullied and an outcast. But there's
Yeah,
many
okay.
accounts.
Were you bullied
Other
at school?
students. apparently he was bullied in school,
But
but
were
there's
you
others.
were you bullied in school? Ever?
Uh, oh, of course.
I
Yeah,
was
it's
too.
part of growing up.
I
Yeah, I
was
mean,
too.
come on, man. Who wasn't bullied in school? Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
I listen. I get that this dude was probably bullied. He looks like somebody that needed to be bullied. Um, you know what I mean?
bullying is. Yeah, it's good for you, but it doesn't mean that they want to pull out a gun and kill the president.
Right.
I think someone made him have extremist views, or there's a potential for MK Ultra. There's a potential for a mind control was put over him. Either way, it didn't happen without some kind of foreign interference. I believe that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to spit out here. Is
Yeah.
I think that it's not Democrat, Republican, rather. A foreign entity that wants control of the US and
Yeah,
is in their interest to disable the US is what's really going on here. And you're seeing
Yeah, this whole
attack.
situation has more red flags than a game of Minesweeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for
And
any of you that are under the age of like 30, you probably don't know what Minesweeper is, but it's a really old game. It used to come on Windows, and it was really hard, and it sucked a lot, and I don't know if anyone ever beat it.
And no one ever really knew how to play it.
Yeah,
It
no
was
one ever
just a
really knew
game.
how to play it.
Yeah, no one ever really figured it out.
But it's covered in
It
red
was a piece
flags.
of shit.
Not as many
Yeah,
red flags
red
as
flags.
this situation.
Minesweeper's a whole other minefield. To move on, what the next topic of discussion is, we were going to talk about. Well, you said something about what was going on with Elon, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Elon.
So there's a video that's
What is it?
going around X, where Elon has said that the woke mind virus
Why are you?
killed his son. And this is about a 3-minute clip here. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I have intentionally not watched it in its entirety yet because I wanted to watch it in real time with you, Paul, to get our up-to-date reactions
on.
to what's going on.
The live show experience. Okay.
Yeah,
All
the
right,
live
I'm
show
ready, man.
experience. So let's get this pulled up here.
Okay.
Why are you willing to make this an issue? Do you think?
I
mean,
well,
it's
it
sort of like the
happened to one of
natalist
my.
issue.
It happened to one of my old. Where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety, and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it. Right? And so and then we end up in exactly, when I saw that lie start to propagate, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like, I see. So you're telling parents that unless they agree to this radical transformation that their children are going to die, and you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That is so pathological that it's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by idly and remaining silent while his colleagues are doing it. It's pathetic.
It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels. So yeah,
Right.
It's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so I see. So that's
So I was
personal connection.
tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead. killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what that would be like.
yeah. So,
Yeah, and there's lots
Okay.
of people in that situation now.
right,
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
yes.
Yeah, well,
So-
that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
I like that. The last part is there. He said he vowed to destroy them. And
That was that was thrilling, man. So, but his son is actually gone. He's gone in terms of like, I mean, he killed himself, or What?
no. His son is gone in the sense that the woke trans
so he turned into a woman.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm being a bit
The
slow
woke
here.
trans referendum has taken his son away from him. And he's absolutely right. These puberty blockers are sterilization drugs. They have
Wow.
all kinds of harmful effects on the development of young people. And I don't get it either. I'm with Elon. Like I don't get it. These pharmaceuticals are incredibly harmful. You're imposing them onto young people who still don't know who they are. They don't know what they really want to be or where they want to go in life. And then you're causing, in many cases, irreparable harm to their development. And who knows what kind
What-
of lingering side effects, even those that pull back from it down the road. We've seen some interviews with people that have pulled back from these puberty blockers, and they're not okay. They're not.
Where's it
okay.
all coming from? When does this all start? Yeah, they are not okay. Where, like, what is the starting point of the trans thing? Is being depressed, something like this, right? It's like depression, and then they're saying you got to change your sex. That's the link here. Or
That
am
that
I-
seems to be a pretty common theme. Is young people are going to therapists and they're saying, I don't know what I am or who I'm supposed to be, and these wokists are pushing this kind of thought process and agenda when that's not supposed to be their job at all. And it's really disgusting.
Again, why? So again, it's sort of almost like there's another one of these things here where, not to really spin a conspiracy too much, but it does look like there's an incentive there coming in again, a bit like the fuck up on the security. Now it's a fuck up on the doctor's side. Instead of the therapist giving actual useful information, it's like,
I think what it
Yeah.
is a financial incentive for
There must be.
everyone involved.
There has
Whether they're the
financial
therapists, whether they are the doctor that's treating this, whether it's the hospital. There's a tremendous financial incentive. Pharmaceutical companies, especially, they're making a
Yeah.
fortune off this. Pharmaceutical companies, as everyone should know, in my opinion, pharmaceutical companies no longer and have not had for a long time any desire to cure disease or mental illness or anything. They simply want to treat it because by treating it, or by treating it, I mean trying to mask the issue. Um, you create someone who's dependent upon your product for the rest of their life and brings
A
you
junk-
a tremendous amount of income because they're going to be on these drugs forever
Yeah.
and they're going to
And
need
then they
long-term care. And then
Like
we
pharma-
see the people that have actually had the bottom surgery, the horror stories that you can read from that are just, I mean, just drive down that on Reddit, and you can read some of the. We're not going to quote any of them here because they're just too much, but they're very disturbing. And if you want to know, you know how to use the internet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure anyone can go and find it if they want to. Well,
Yeah.
what to say from my personal point of view is that, you know, God made Alpha and Omega, and there's a male and a female. And if you're not understanding life and you're not happy in life, then that's because you're not close to what your natural resonance is, your natural being, without sounding too new world. But what resonates with you, right? They have this philosophy also in the Japanese. Find your meaning in life. So if you
I
really
think
don't know
every
what that
society
is,
has this. I mean, you have the yin and the yang, and you know, man and woman are two parts of the same whole.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And without, if you're going through life without your female counterpart, female going through life without a male counterpart, I think finds it very difficult to find that balance, a harmony, the daily routine, you know, fitting into societal roles. There are gender roles, and that's what defines life and reality. Reality is, although ultimately objective, you have to get these things completed to have a long and healthy and fruitful life. It is subjective down to the point of being of freedom of will. So, you know, a woman can choose to be whatever she wants. A man can choose to be whatever he wants. That's what they say. But ultimately, it's not really true, because you can't really be anything you want. You know, your imagination can't run too wild. Sure, the sky's the limit, but like, you need to raise kids and you need to provide. And however that looks and forms, you know, like a shoe is a shoe, right? It's still going to cover the foot. You know what I mean? A house is a house. Like, it may be a very eccentric looking house or a very eccentric looking boot. You know what I mean? There's many different houses people live in, but all of them have a family. You have a mom and a dad and the children and the responsibilities that come with that. And that's what needs to be reinforced. That's what needs to be supported, needs to be protected. And the sovereignty of that, the protection of that, it does require strong border, and it does require probably pretty much like a monoculture, like, you know, a polyculture. Having lots of different racial backgrounds and stuff was something that's essentially quintessential to America. America's the only place that's been able to execute it. The original, you know, because of having all the Irish immigrants or having all the waves of immigration over the years, America has executed it and has achieved it through having a Pledge of Allegiance, because everyone came to the country and pledged allegiance and then became American, right? So this idea of like then changing how that goes and bringing in all these other countries and say, let's get rid of what worked before the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's remove the flag. Let's remove patriotism because it doesn't work. What the fuck are they talking about? They're totally insane. Look at all the amazing things America has built. We're doing this broadcast right now and this great software. It doesn't come from another country. It doesn't come from some other place. I know San
It wouldn't
Francisco's
even be
fucked up.
allowed in
California's
another country.
it wouldn't be allowed. It would never have come about if it wasn't for the American dream. You know, look at computing. Go back through computing.
Paul,
It's one of the best testimonies.
As a former British national, let's just give the people some context here. Could we have a conversation like this in England?
I don't believe we could have quite the conversation we're having. No, I'm not sure of that. I haven't been in England for a long time, so it's hard to say, but it looks to me like in England, they do have a very strict restriction. A very strict restriction indeed on what can be said, and yeah, it's concerning, but I don't really see anything that we're saying here is against freedom of speech. It may be questioning some status quos. I heard a lot of call-in Brits coming into the Alex Jones show, speaking their mind on American radio because they feel like, you know, they can't speak that in the UK. Maybe that's something that we can facilitate here on this podcast, on this show, whatever we're calling this thing. But yeah, I think people in the UK are worried about putting out really how they feel about things, and that with the recent incidents that have gone on, it clearly shows that in the UK have a bunch of people which are like not wanting to fit in with the roles of the country, so to speak, and they're wanting to make up their own thing. But they know that that's really hypocritical, because if we look at the countries they're coming from, this is the real point to underline here, yeah? They're clearly taking the piss in the guest's country, right? Because if being guests in the host country, because if we go to the country of origin for them, law and order is executed with the gun, right? There's executions, there's firing squads, they cut off people's hands. Is this all urban myths? Not at all, right? That's a cultural thing. It's extremely strict in Arabic nations, right? It's extremely strict in foreign nations, in a way that isn't in the UK, because the UK is much more how to say, like, soft on these topics, and it allows for more, like, as they call it, I believe, social policing, social policy.
Well,
So
that ties into our Second Amendment here. I mean,
Right.
the only reason that you have any rights in America, the only reason that you are allowed to speak your mind, is because of the Second Amendment. Because there is this threat of force against tyranny. And
Yeah.
if there wasn't this threat of force against tyranny and uh, trying to curtail your rights, then we would be in a situation where much of Europe is.
I think
And
so. I
certainly
think
other places like
yes,
China. Then,
yes,
when the
yes.
government's the only people that has the firearms and the
hmm
people don't, the government has no reason to fear you because there is no recourse for whatever they really want to do.
You just said exactly what I wanted to say, yeah. And I that's the underlining thing here. To anyone listening who doesn't get the Second Amendment, doesn't get the First Amendment, thinks we're gun nuts, or, what the hell is going on here? Just to clarify, the government has guns. The higher echelons of your society, wherever you're tuned in from, are protected by firearms. Diplomats have firearms.
How many
Why
times
did they have them? Because they're
we
important
said this,
assets.
that everything in America that we hold dear to us is protected by guns. Everything.
Everything.
And when it comes to foreign governments outside the United States, everything that those governments love and cherish are protected with firearms. Now,
Damn straight.
they don't love and cherish their people, and that's why they don't protect them with firearms.
Wow. Possibly, and that's something to talk about. That's something to bring up. If you want to get irate about something, it's not getting irate with banning the guns. It's getting irate with, why aren't you allowed one? That's the question.
That's it right there.
been right? Why have you been brainwashed? If you're objectified to what we're saying, why have you been so brainwashed that it's scaring you that your neighbor has a weapon? You don't trust your neighbor. You don't trust them at all. You cannot trust your neighbor that much. What kind of society are you living in? That's the society they want for the whole world to
A
live in.
society of fear.
Forget it. A society of fear, a society of rape, a society where the incidents of rape per 100K are 200% higher.
Yeah.
That's insane. Now, this gets
Sweden's
brought
a
up with
pretty
me
good
a lot
example of that.
It's a very good one. Now in Sweden, we're going 600, 800 times, 800% more, 8 times higher, right? So you're 8 times more likely. What a surprise! Is it really a surprise that you're more than double more likely to be raped if you don't carry a firearm as a woman? Is it really that surprising? I
Well, the
wouldn't
firearm's a
surprise me
great
at all.
equalizer.
It's a great equalizer. It's a great deterrent. And why do women feel unsafe around firearms? Is purely that you don't know how to use one. It's a hole puncher, it's a stapler, it's a screwdriver, it's a tool. If we come with this argument, I know the rebuttal of it is say, well, if everyone's got a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. Meaning that if we give a gun to everyone, they get overused, and they bring all these stats in, well, in America, it's the only place where you see this and that when it comes to firearm crime, firearm violence, as they call it. Or they try and link, firearm crime, firearm violence. Sometimes, though, we got to remember, and this is the blind spot on it, is that there's a justified usage for a firearm. And that's where it just goes whoosh, straight over the European's head, straight over the Brits' head, yeah? You understand that all these stats you quote, there are plenty of incidences of a justified usage. And how the bloody hell can you justify it, they say.
Well,
it's pretty
simple,
obvious.
we want to stay alive.
Right. So
Um,
that's what they're forgetting whenever they debate it, is that the stats they bring when they compare, there's so much high incidence of shooting in America. Yeah, because they have guns. It's illegal, it's legally allowed. So you can't really compare the stats. Likewise, if we compare stabbings, England is off the chart because they don't have guns. So everyone has a knife, a small knife.
or
Yeah.
blunt
And
object.
a blunt object, right? Which, if you look at the law in England, I've been pulled up on this recently in the bar, and I've been asked about it, and I have pulled it up to look at it. It's quite ambiguous, and it doesn't actually outlaw use of a firearm because it allows use of equal force. So if they did have a Second Amendment in the UK, 2A for the UK, you would already by law be allowed to use it, because if someone else is using a firearm against you, even right now, you're allowed to defend yourself with equal force. The problem is, I don't believe there's ever been a case or there's ever been a time where someone in the UK used it. All I know is of successful cases of Second Amendment in the UK. It's not really Second Amendment, but of self-defense is cases of people using the longsword, which they had as ornamental decoration. They bought a longsword and they were able to detain someone, through really like using a sword, with sword and shield. They fought the intruder. Can you believe that, Ryan?
Dark
Can you
Ages.
fucking imagine that? You have a gang in your house and you take down your ornamental sword and shield and you go down the stairs in the dark and you fight them with a sword until the police come. You
No.
detain them and you wait for the police
No.
to come. What a different world, man. Apparently, that's the world that they want us to live in. That's medieval shit, bro. That's fucking crazy. That's a meme. That's like the fucking Templar meme, right? Like literally want people coming out of their bedrooms with a sword and shield. Fucking hell, man. Like get a firearm and some hollow points. It's
Yeah.
crazy, It's yeah. So there you go. That's my
It's
take on
completely
the thing.
insane because the right to self-defense is a universal right. And to me, in the modern era, that means to me that the Second Amendment is a universal right for people.
Damn straight, worldwide. Yeah, First Amendment and Second Amendment is a universal right worldwide, I believe. I believe so. If we really want to live in that era, if they want to use everything that come with it, like they want to use the internet, they want to use all of the apps, all of the technology that came from that enableization of this. Because where the fuck would it be if they didn't turn around and shut the tea in, yeah? What the hell would those crazy Brits have it looking like? What would a British internet look like? A bottle of water. You know what I mean? Like, what would the internet look like if America didn't exist? Would it even exist? There will always be a Brit in the back of the room argue that, oh, but the English made the internet. It's partially true because of this guy that created the protocol, right? A lot of it comes from Oxford or Cambridge or something, but it's an international project of which AOL, the main capitalism of it, the e-commerce boom was started because of America. The e-commerce boom wasn't started because of the UK. And what would the internet look like, without America? Would you have a First Amendment line?
What would the entire world look like without America, without an independent America? That's a great question. Nothing good. As many problems as America has, we are the last bastion of freedom in the world.
I really believe that. Yeah.
With freedom comes a great responsibility. And you have a choice. You can either be a prisoner and have security, or you can have freedom and not be as safe, but you have to be responsible for your own safety. And the way to be responsible for your own safety is a firearm. A firearm is more than a sword. A firearm is also a shield. And in most cases, a firearm is used as a shield. It's a shield for your family. It's a shield for yourself. It's a shield for your nation.
Yeah. Let's not forget that. Largest army on earth, right? I mean, think about that. That's how you protect an idea. It's how you protect an ideology. You protect your nation. It's allowing the citizen. It's ascension. It's evolution, whatever you want to call it. But the end of the day, an American is allowed a right that a Brit isn't, a European isn't. So of course they always want to debate you online. They always want to argue with you because they're jealous as fuck. They're butthurt and they're fucking jealous about it because their government doesn't trust them enough. I mean, they barely trust them with anything. You need a license to watch television is the famous meme, right? Is the famous cliche. You got a license for that, bruv, you know? They need a license for everything. I think if they ever did legalize firearms over there, and there is such things as a firearm certificate, I believe, and there is what they call like a shotgun license, but it's never going to be that you can get a concealed carry. I don't think so anyway. Quote me if I'm wrong. Anyone, hit me up. You know, the DM's always open if I'm wrong on this. But as far as I know, even if the UK did allow people to have a firearm, like a pistol has to come with a brace. But they are all suppressed. As far as I know, some sort of thing with suppression. Like they're okay with that, which is really cool. It's like, what the fuck? Like everything is suppressed.
Yeah. Most European nations that allow the private ownership of firearms actually encourage the use of suppressors. There's no crazy registration for them. You can just buy them and go home with them because they want to cut down on noise pollution, and they also want to save people's hearing.
Right.
The United States is one of very few countries in the world that regulate the use of suppressors. And that's something I would very much like to see changed because, well, on nearly everything I shoot, personally, I use a suppressor for multiple reasons. One, I don't like to wake the neighbors. Two, a lot of the times I don't even have to use, with my level of hearing loss anyway. I don't even need to use hearing protection, even though you should, because it's still unsafe. But
should always use ear protection.
Should always use hearing protection. But
always.
I don't a lot of the times because, well, I was a machine gunner, so it's not going to do any more damage to me. I can assure you of that. But you know, it's just a great tool to make your neighbors much more okay with what you're doing outside. They will appreciate the fact that you're using a suppressor, and they're great hunting tools. There's
great hunting tools.
Yeah,
absolutely superb. Yeah.
Especially if you're a nuisance species hunter, like a coyote hunter, or a wild boar hunter, then suppressors are great because you can take care of a lot more of those nuisance species using a suppressor than you could by having the crack of a rifle going off.
Totally.
So
and
I'm
just
fully in favor of deregulating suppressors. It's been far too long. You know, you can get your tax stamp for a suppressor now in as little as 12 hours. So let's just do away with it. There's no point in having it. It's a total useless feature, or if it's a total useless addition to the NFA law. There's no reason to regulate suppressor devices. None. Zero.
And banning, as we know, gun control areas, that's what I'm trying to wrap up here with the point on the UK, is that UK would have to change in a paradigm shift, a complete philosophy change of holding their political class, their politicians, under the gun and saying to them, you know, you have to live to the same standards that like you're doing with us, and that if there's tyranny, we can uprise against you. That would require such a change of thinking. Like what you're saying there is really going against the grain, because that's not part of the narrative. That's not part of the conversation. They're like, I don't know. They're not willing to like go sort of too far with things. But if you look at the way it's going and the way that the country's being run, I think at some point people have to actually make a choice in their own life on which way they're going with it. And either you stay there, you take it, and you join in with that, or you join the alternative. And there's a lot of alternatives out there. You don't have to live in England. You can always go back and visit, you know what I mean? You can always come and go. It's an island. But I recommend it to any Brits listening. And it's something that I always tell people, if you're not happy there, you're not enjoying life there, you don't have to stay. There are airports. There are places to get out of the country. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to be this blinded by it. And it's, you know, it's just an accent, I think. Brits are some of the most people you'll find moving around the world because they want to see the world, they want to get away from it. So have a bigger mind, you know. Don't be afraid of travel, you know. Don't be afraid of just like upping sticks and getting out of there. Especially with what's coming next, because it doesn't look like they've got any leadership. And I really don't think there's a lot of hope for firearm owners in the UK. I don't think they're going to allow them to use it for like self-defense. I really don't think. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, the
Well,
the British have
like I'm
a storied history of arming their populace in times of great struggle for the nation, and then once the threat is over, disarming their populace immediately afterward.
I
World
think
War
they'll
II is a great example of that.
Yeah, I think they'll arm if it goes into a war situation. I think they will arm all, like, you know, everyone that is in the armed forces. But I don't think the populace, for anyone that's talking about that, like I have had some messages about that and stuff. I don't think that the populace will get the 2A, and like you won't be able to like start buying stuff now to like prepare for it or anything like that. Whatever you do, you have to do it under the license of the UK government. And I don't think that there is really any chance that there would be a 2A stand your ground unless there's massive reform. I don't know if there is a reform party in the UK. I know that much about their politics. I don't know how much of a percentage control they have. But if that's something they're talking about or not, also, I don't know. So coming in this discussion, I'm like, fucking, all I have is the accent. I'm really fucking blind. But I really hope for anyone in the UK that wants to have those things, that wants to have firearms, well, email us about it or talk about it. I would love to have a guest on
Yeah,
or talk with someone more
yeah,
about firearms
absolutely.
in the UK.
If you happen to
It
be
would
from the
be great.
UK or a restrictive Western European nation, and you would
Yeah,
like to give us some more insight, whether you're for or against citizenry in your nation having firearms, send us a DM on X, send us a message on YouTube, or email us at support@guncoyote.com. We want to hear from you. We'll have you on the show because I
yeah.
would love to know more. I would love to know your thought process, whether you're for or against. Either way, I want to know. I
I'm an
want to hear the perspective.
I'm an advocate for worldwide firearm ownership, and for just so people know my position on it, I'm advocate for worldwide Second Amendment. I don't think it works. Gun control, controlling guns, locking them up, it doesn't work, and it's quite clearly obvious when we look at the stats. We look at Sweden, we look at the UK, Chicago. When we look at the stats, Atlanta, it doesn't work, and firearms, in my opinion, should be available to everyone who is of sound mind and has shown they're, you know, capable of doing so. When people start to go off the rails or something, there should also be the responsibility of those around them. That's my take on it. You know, like, if someone is making threats to people, for instance, writing on social media and so on and so forth,
Because there are crazy people.
make it personal. Say if it was my son doing it or my sibling, I would expect to get in equal shit for that, for allowing him access to the gun safe. You know what I mean? Like, if he's been writing shit like that online, I'm not trying to jinx myself or make something happen, like knock on wood, right? But I just want to give an example of myself. Yeah, if that happened with my son, he was making threats like that, I would remove his access from the firearm right away. And I think any responsible parent would do so. And so many of these shootings, even the recent assassination attempt, apparently he gave him the rifle, right? So it's the day of Trump speaking. The dad gives him his AR-15, and he says he's going hunting. And then there's reports of like so on and so forth
He
going
went
on.
hunting,
Like,
all right.
oh my God, man! It just doesn't all map up. It doesn't map up either for me. If people think Americans are crazy and irresponsible with firearms, you know. Ryan, what's your take on that? If you had a son, would you give him his AR? You know what I mean? He's been making threats online. He's weird. Would you remove access? What's your take on it? You know what I mean? Maybe you're a bit more
I
easy.
think as parents, and this doesn't happen enough in America by any means. I think as parents, we have a responsibility to have a good relationship with our children, to understand or try to understand the not just the physical well-being of our children, but the mental well-being of our children too. And that the first line of defense in preventing something like this or any other horrific incident that has happened, and we can name many. In my eyes, a lot of the times it's the failure of parenthood, because these parents are entirely too involved with their careers or social media or entertainment, that they pawn their children off on things like the internet and tablets and computers and video games as a substitute for their parenting. And as a result of that, they don't know what their child's thinking, how their child's feeling. And a result of this is an event like this. If I had any inclination that my child was struggling and was potentially a threat to themselves or others, the first thing that I would do would be remove access to firearms and have a very sober, long discussion with my child to see what was going on and get them the help, if they needed it, that they so desperately need to prevent things like this from happening. So ultimately, when it comes to young people doing insane things like this, and it's not just this, it's doing things that are happening every day. You see these mass rushes on stores of people stealing, and you have entire families in there doing that. That is a breakdown of the family unit. And that is the root cause, I think, of many of the issues that society faces, is the destruction of the family unit.
Family is protection. Family is tradition. You know, family will give you everything you need. And yeah, once it gets broken down,
no one should
that balance,
love a child more than their parents. And
that's it.
I feel like a lot of parents now love their distractions more than they love their children. They may say that I might make a lot of people mad by saying that, and that's fine. But from what I see a lot out in public is that a lot of parents are more consumed with what they want and their well-being versus what their child needs and their child's well-being.
Right.
No, a
What's
parent is not a
convenient?
friend. A parent is not a friend. You're a parent.
Yeah.
You are a guide. That means that at times you're going to have to be firm. At times you're going to have to discipline. At times you're going to have to be soft. At times you're going to have to be angry. And at times you're going to have to be understanding. And I think that a lot of parents have lost sight of that.
Lost sight of the goal, yeah. Lost sight of what's going on. Too much me. Too much me time, and forgetting about, end of the day, your life is an arc, and you were born, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. For some people, the end comes far too early, and we never know when that will come. But, you know, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. You live in the middle right now. You live in the point of today, and there's never going to be a day like it again, right? So make it a good one and spend the time with, not to sound too preachy or whatever, it's the evening, we're chilling out, but spend that quality time, making quality time, plan ahead for it, and don't spend time on distractions. Stop saying I'm bored. I'm never bored, by the way. This is part of my philosophy on life. Never bored. If we're just sharing philosophy here, mindset, you're not allowed to be bored, okay? If you say to yourself, I'm bored, you're fucking up, because think of all the people in service, think of all the people that are working at that day, at that time when you have that chance to say, I'm bored, you know, you're not bored. You just haven't thought of something to do yet. You're at a loose end, you know?
That's right.
And you could start a new project, you could start working on
there
something
is
or
something
cleaning
that you can be doing.
Oh, it's something you can turn your hand to, you know,
Learn
you might
something.
just be listening.
Even if it's
Yeah,
just
listening,
reading a book.
Yeah. Or just use the internet for whatever it is. But I
Something
feel
useful.
that a lot of people are searching for something in there which they're not really, you're not getting out the internet because you're not interacting with it with life as well. You know, if you're just looking at the internet for your single source of entertainment, you're not going to be getting out of something on it. You know, if you're just looking at it to be entertained by like a feed that's constantly coming, I would say you need to touch grass. You know what I mean? Like you need to get away from it.
Please,
Or if you just,
please, people, go touch
yeah,
grass.
just touch grass, just get away from it. And the same thing for like people getting depressed and that, it all loops into that same topic. The depression, well, that's what happened. He changed his sex, didn't he, to feel better. If that's what's working to make him feel better, but I would say first exhaust all options on leading the alpha omega role, leading your gender role. And even if that requires some kind of sort of LARP in your family situation, if you're really feeling depressed because like you don't have enough authority as the man, you have to be given the responsibility. You know, well, what are you going to do with it? You're going to pay some bills around here. You're going to start taking it on. Start, you know, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. And if that makes you feel like you're going to collapse and you know you're not going to be able to do it, you gotta have a serious question with yourself. You know, because a serious talk with yourself, a serious, questioning session.
Well,
Because
you know,
I think that's what a lot
I know a
is
lot of parents
trapped
out there feel
at.
like that. I know that you have. I certainly do. Every day I feel like Atlas. But the one thing that I don't do is shrug.
Well, unlike the book, you don't run from it, you run into it. Well, that's the way to face it. Early start, you know, early to start, early to finish, and keep working away and keep getting behind it. Unfortunately, in Biden's economy, it's very difficult
It is
for majority of
extremely
people to
difficult.
get ahead.
And I
It's
understand
extremely
the pain that and the hardship that people are going through. I am experiencing it with you, just like many Americans are. Um, it's
Mhm.
painful to go to the grocery store. It's
Food price is
painful.
insane. Gas
Um,
price is insane. Everything on a
everything's
budget. Yeah.
insane. Everything's on a budget.
Mhm.
You know, my daughter's birthday was today. I wish I could have got her more. She still had a great birthday regardless. Um, but yeah, I look back on my childhood when the economy was much better, and it pains me because I think I had my child has a happy childhood. She does. She's very well loved. She's not a little girl that needs much in her life. Um, but I had more things at her age. You know what I mean? And a lot of Americans, a lot of parents are feeling that way, that they had more things when they were children, and it hurts me, and I know it hurts these other parents too, that they feel like they can't give their children the same childhood that they experienced, and if in a lot of cases that's true because they're just not financially able to, and that's because of
Mm.
the insane prices that everything is at. Great example. So back in 2016, I bought myself a new truck. I bought a
Right.
Ram Power Wagon. I bought this truck brand new in 2016 for $42,000, which I thought was a lot of money for a truck. That same truck today is
Mhm.
$96,000.
Wow. What the fuck?
And when the average cost of a home in the United States to purchase a home is over $300,000, it's no wonder that people can't afford to buy homes because they're just radically expensive, and that's before you get into anything else. It's before you get into electric bills, before you get into water bills, before you get into utility bills, before you get into food. So in order to purchase a home in America now, you have to be quite wealthy. Um, I
Right.
was looking at a breakdown of the states not too long ago that showed what the average income needed to be for a family of three per state to live comfortably, to be in the middle class. And in um, my state of Virginia, the income that you needed to be have a comfortable life in the middle class was a combined household income of $101,000 per year.
Wow. That's astronomical, man.
Now, that's a huge
Okay.
amount of money. Now, think about this. Do you know what the average income is for a single adult male in America?
Per year, per person, per capita, yeah?
Yeah,
I'd
the
say,
average. The average.
I don't know, like 30K, 40K? I'm
It's
not sure.
close. $37,500 is the average income of a single American male in the United States.
Wow.
So,
So,
if you got a spouse
impossible.
who's making the same amount of money as you're
Yeah.
still $30,000 underneath what you per year what you need to live comfortably in the state of Virginia.
We
And
need 2 jobs. We both
need
need to
2
work
jobs.
2 jobs. Wow.
to support a family of 3.
Yeah, just to support 1 kid. It's not working, yeah. It's not working out.
I mean, that's an
And
average
how's it?
income of what? I'm bad at math in my head anyway.
60K.
That's
That's for
$8,000 or $9,000 a month
Yeah.
in
Oh, what?
family
Breaking
income,
it down
in household
for
income.
more. Didn't you say 112,000, right? Oh, yeah, yeah.
101,000. 101,000.
Uh-huh.
And there was
Okay.
hardly a state on this list. I think there was maybe 2 states that had less than 100,000, and they were in the high 90s.
Mm. But
So
where are the jobs? What are the jobs going to be that pay that? Where are the high-paying jobs?
that's a good question. Where
Where
are they?
where are they going to come from?
Because we don't make anything here.
So
Where
what's it going to be? The
that's
gig economy, does it work? You know, what's it going to be? How's that going to work? How's that going to fit into this?
the gig
Uh,
economy is not it. The gig
yeah.
economy is not it. Now, in certain areas, if you're doing gig jobs like DoorDash or Spark or Uber, yeah, sure, you can probably make a really good living doing that. But when you get away from those urban areas, you get into the more rural parts of the country. Where are those jobs coming from? They don't exist.
Which means everyone has to get crowded around in the cities and living in tiny little, you know, shoebox size apartments
But then you
and
can't even
not
make it
having.
then because you're going to have to rent something, and your rent's going to be so astronomical that the amount of income that you're making is it doesn't change the game.
Hmm. It's a crazy world, man. It's a crazy world. So yeah,
Now,
I
I
don't know
do
where
have
we're going
a
with it.
uh,
Do you have any
that's
tweets?
pretty much it. I do have another change of topic.
Oh,
This is something that has just come up today. I just picked up on it while we were doing the stream.
uh-huh.
Apparently, Mr. Beast, one of the people that works with Mr. Beast, a trans individual by the name of Chris
No.
Tyson,
Oh
is
my God, not
being
again.
accused of talking to minors. And the tweet, as you can see on the screen here, the tweet from Drama
What?
Alert says 2 videos over the last 30 days outline an alleged sexually inappropriate relationship with a minor that started with the minor at age 13, with plans to meet up with the same minor at the age of 16. It says Chris Tyson.
Mm.
Let's expand this tweet. Chris Tyson, who now goes by Ava, has yet to respond to these allegations. And this
But
is this is all over X
dangerous?
right now too.
If you look as well, though, he's already been done for this like a couple days prior or last. I think it was yesterday. They were talking about how he had like paintings that were pedo stuff. You know, there was like paintings, and either he was a purchaser of them or like someone was going down for it, and he was related to that. I briefly read it last night, so I'm amazed to see this already another story developed within 12 hours about this Mr. Beast guy, Chris.
Yeah.
who
Now, just to be clear, we're not throwing any shade toward Mr. Beast, because we don't know anything about what's going on there, um, but I am quite interested to know more about what's going on with this Chris Tyson or Ava or whatever you want to call this individual.
I am chucking lots of shade at Mr. Beast. I can't stand him. Can't stand the guy. I'm not a huge fan. Sorry. But yeah, no, I couldn't resist. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think that what he does is like really that great. And yeah, well, maybe that's unfair. He does give a lot of money away, which is
He does give
awesome.
away a lot of money away.
I think he should have maybe.
but-
Well, he's caught in a bind. Put it that way. He's caught in a difficult place between having, you know, like disassociating himself with this really bad member of the gang, and then getting like obliterated by the woke crowd, which he has
This
to appeal
ain't
to. But I
true.
think he should have just picked like fuck the woke and just gone super based. Like we want to see more based activity out of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast should be
Yeah,
like a giga.
that's
you
why I
know what
like
mean?
what Elon had to say in that clip that from earlier is Elon is becoming more based by the day, and
He's always been base, bro. He is the base.
He is
the
the
base
base.
of base. Huh?
he
Right.
is the column. He is the column right now that is holding up.
Foundational.
He is the foundation of what is still and left of free speech on the internet, where we can
Yeah.
express our opinions. And I have tremendous respect for Elon Musk, and I think he is one of, if not the greatest mind of our generation. And he knows. He's an incredible person, and it would be something to get to pick his brain one day because he's a much smarter man than I. Now this same post here has a video. I have no idea what this video says or anything. Let's check it out and see what's going on here.
This ain't true. And this screenshot is Chris Tyson talking one-on-one with him. And at this point, he would have been 16. And here we go. Here is the picture of them meeting up together. I'm gonna censor his face. And as you can see right there, there's Carl right there. There's Chris Tyson right there. Chris Tyson was talking to this guy since he was 13. Chris Tyson was in college. And of course, the moment he was able to drive, he takes a camper van out in the middle of the woods, which, by the way, very secluded area. Let me talk about that. Anytime that someone is taking a camper van somewhere, bringing it out in the desert or the middle of the woods, it's very unnecessary because there's RV parks, there's the Walmart parking lot, there's plenty of areas you can go instead of going to a place that's very unfamiliar to you to camp out there, especially in a secluded area. So the real question is, if he was talking to Chris Tyson, who is interested in both men and women, since he was 13 years old and Chris Tyson was in college, why did he take a camper van out to see him and take it out in the middle of the woods in this secluded area? And then he met up with him like 2 days later, like the picture was posted.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. If these allegations are true, this is going to be a serious issue for Mr. Beast.
That's just fucked. They're all fucked, man. But they were all in the picture. They all knew what's going on. Are you telling me that they didn't all know what was going on? Look at the picture he just ran in the little clip there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have some questions.
fuck.
I would have some serious questions.
It's game over.
Did Mr. Beast know?
I'm telling you, bro.
That's what I want to know. Did
After
Mr.
seeing-
Beast know this was going on?
It's game over for Mr. Beast. For Botox Beast, it's over, bro. He'll be what's his name? Jimmy. He'll be able to get another shot of Botox straight in those cheeks, make him look all big and swole. And I mean the cheeks on his face, by the way. But yeah, he's I just think he's Botox to hell, by the way. That's why I'm saying that. Like ever since he started to get YouTube money, it's like straight away with the filler injections and all this shit. And then it's giving away loads of money, but then I seen it on a documentary. They're like, by giving away all this money, we end up losing money. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's
guys.
no
Like,
way he's
do you
losing
really
money.
do you think we're that fucking retarded that we believe that if you run a YouTube channel and like this is the sob story, oh, by being so charitable and such a philanthropic wonder, we've actually fucked ourselves by losing money. What? When you got all these other subsidiaries and all these things going on, it's more than just YouTube cash, right? They got the food, the
Sponsors.
candy, sponsors, shit coming out the wazoo. And then they knew about what was going on in there. For those pictures were pre him chopping off the nuts. Has he actually done it? He didn't do it yet, though. Those pictures were when he was still
A dude.
looking a dude. He was still a dude. But like, yeah, I mean,
Before
hold on.
he
Has
was a
this guy
dude,
actually
playing a
chopped off
dude,
the nuts?
pretending to be a dude.
To be a dude, to be a chick. No, but he actually snippy snipped, like actually, gone in there,
Couldn't tell you.
or is he just?
I'm not someone that keeps up with Mr. Beast or his associates, but I did find that this hasn't. What's interesting to me in this is this hasn't blown up as big as the whole Doctor Disrespect thing. And now it is. We'll see what happens over the coming days with this. I suspect that this is going to snowball.
It's fucking every day with another one. What's the next one gonna be? Bring up the news right now. I'm gonna check the feed now. Maybe it's not the time to do it on the stream, but
I don't know. Go
so
for
what
it.
happened with Doc with Docky Disrespect? What happened?
I don't know. I'm not. That's kind of like gone quiet too. I don't really know a lot about what's going on more there. I think he's still on his little sabbatical.
Okay. He's figuring it out, and
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's dipped out for a while, and hoping that other things will make people forget about that entire incident. Now I do want to pop over to this tweet, which you'll be able to see now, Paul.
Yeah.
From my favorite X personality next to Harry Sisson.
Harry, listen. Now that's a fucking goat. I got a link for you.
Is this one right here. I'm gonna censor reading a little bit of it since we are simulcasting on YouTube. But
Okay.
completely yeah.
I hope I didn't.
No. I think we're good. I think it's just excessive, and there's so many F-bombs in order here that I just don't want to read it all out loud because of YouTube things. But we'll say here it says, buckle up, you incel fascist F words. I know you're not used to hearing these words, but we're coming for you. You bought the mother effing ticket. Now you get to ride the mother effing ride. Now, the way I interpret it, in fact, you could actually see on screen my reply to this. My first thought was this meme right here. And JoJo, I'm your Huckleberry. Because to me, this is a direct call for violence. That's the way I feel about this. That to me seems like a threatening statement.
She's just bad with her words.
Is that
She
what it
doesn't
is?
mean. She's just bad with her words. Maybe I'm just saying, in her defense, she's just really bad with her words. Yeah, it does sound like she's calling for more than that, but she's probably meaning in a political sense, like we're coming and get those votes.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
not
What
how
does she-
that's not how a lot of people interpret these things. And it took less than 24 hours after the Trump assassination for all these big liberal accounts. It's not just JoJo. She's just the easy target to throw shade at here. She's because she's just all over. This woman is incessantly on Twitter. But it's not just her. It's all the liberal so-called influencers across the Twitter sphere together that the things that they say are really inflammatory, and they really, if they don't want political violence, then maybe they should really think about the types of phrases and the words that they're using that are going to, and have, in my opinion, inspired people to do violent actions.
Right.
Because it's really easy to interpret this as inciting, like, you need to do something about it. Like, we're coming for you. How are you coming for me? Are you coming for me for votes, or are you saying that you're going to come for me in my home? Because that's not clear. And there's a lot of people that are going to interpret it that way, because we know there's a lot of extreme people out there. It's not just extreme on one side, there's extreme people on every side of things. And when you have, I would say that in the name of people like this, who have a really huge following of people that see everything that you put out there. For example, this tweet alone has seen, and this is at the time that I had it on here, I've not refreshed the page, 58,600 people have seen this tweet. With great power comes great responsibility. And that means that you have a responsibility to phrase things in a way to not incite people to violent courses of action. And that's not what I'm seeing from a lot of these liberal influencers. They're constantly calling people incels. They're calling people fascists. They're calling people Nazis, and that is phrasing that causes people that are on the edge about things anyway, who get way too worked up about politics, to be inspired to take violent action.
Well,
and I think it's
this
dangerous.
guy, the streamer Destiny, the dude, the things he's saying, whoa,
Yeah,
he's fucking crazy.
that's
man.
another
He's-
that's
yeah.
another level of crazy right there. I mean, I'm not sure if that dude, well, he probably does mean it, and at the same time, he knows it's also going to get him a lot of attention, and it has worked very well at getting him a lot of attention.
Probably more, I'm thinking more of that, is he knows how to incite people now, but there's definitely something that has to be said about the dude's jaw. He has some very weird camel-like movement of the jaw, of the sort of like a horse or a cow, like a bovine kind of, the grinding of the jaw. Maybe there's something going on there with, substances or something. I don't know. But there's a weird kind of talking out the side of the mouth that reminds me of growing up in the UK, in the kind of way people would look when they took a lot of ecstasy, of MDMA. So,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just
would that
saying,
be
just
totally outside of his lifestyle, considering what his lifestyle is?
from the surface, just from a first time impression of seeing this guy, he looks like he's on a gurner, as they say in England. It looks like he's on some Molly. He's there's something going on. I would love to know what his involvement with amphetamine and stuff is, what his view on it is. Does he think it's a good thing or not? Because Destiny's definitely got some clips of him gurning. If you look, he's gurning, man. He's he's doing the licking of the lips, like he's bombed some Molly, man, before he went on and toured. I'm telling you. And he's like coming up on it, talking to Piers Morgan, fried out of his mind on fucking Molly on live stream, probably holding onto his desk for near just fucking like feeling like he's gonna fly off or whatever. And I found out that Destiny is a parent as well, right? Isn't that amazing? That's crazy to know. It's
So,
surprising to see that.
I
Yeah.
want to circle back around to the beginning of the show when we were talking about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through X right now on another machine here, and even Mr. Guns and Gear has a post up right now that says, "What do y'all think the undisclosed medical emergency was? President Biden suffered an undisclosed medical emergency during his time in Las Vegas, police sources say," and links to a website called dossier.today, which I know nothing
Right.
about. And then we have Tara Bull, who just shared 32 minutes ago a post from Twitter's Global Press Corps that says breaking a verified source has informed the global press team that Joe Biden is currently in hospice care and is unlikely to survive the night.
Holy fuck, we have it. Hold on. Put it up on the stream, bro.
Yeah.
Pull it.
Let me bring up Tara Bull's post
Joe's
here.
not gonna make it through the night.
I think this is the right one.
Fuck,
Yeah, right here
man.
it is. Right here it is. I don't know about this Global Press Corps either. Do you know anything about them?
It's completely unconfirmed. Well, we don't know then.
We don't know.
They
We don't know.
trolling,
There's a
man.
lot of
this is-
speculation in the Twitterverse.
It's just speculation right now. We don't know. But there hasn't been an appearance. Corn Pop hasn't shown himself for 2 weeks, you're saying?
Not 2 weeks, but he hasn't shown himself since after the since not long after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. We've not seen.
He's not, well, you know, maybe maybe his security protocol, because there's fucking loonies about on rooftops, on sloped roofs. There's too many fucking sloped roofs that aren't ADA. So watch out, you know? But seriously, maybe that is it. That is a protocol, is just to keep him hush hush, you know, for a little bit while it all simmers down. Donald making lots of appearances though, so that wouldn't make any sense. I'm just trying to think of other reasons why Biden isn't, you know, because if he's gone, man, we'd miss him, man. Like, how he's a huge source of entertainment. And I love seeing him. It's just a shame that he's the president. He should be more like just there doing his thing. He should have a channel, you know what I mean? Like Biden's bike rides. That would be fucking great, dude. I want to see him on the bike again, man. The bike ride was
Biden's
so
bike
good.
rides.
It was so wholesome, bro. Biden's bike rides, Biden's bicycle rides, and reading time. And like he has like a YouTube Kids channel where he just like reads stories, you know. Can he get through it, you know? But no, we shouldn't joke on it, because if he has gone, then RIP, man. I would feel very sorry, you know. Like, but I don't think he's gone. I think he's still here.
Well, I mean,
I just think
if something like this does end up being true, that's going to cause even more chaos.
well, it needs
in
Kamala.
America that's already in pure chaos.
It would be wild, man, if hospice, if this is true. But we can only speculate. We don't have it confirmed. What about? Let's have a look on the newspapers.
Now,
I don't see
Raw's alerts, which the Raw's alerts on X, which has a very good reputation of being accurate and factual, and responsible reporting, is responding to the Global Press Corps on X, saying this news report is 100% false, as there is no official confirmed source stating that President Joe Biden is in hospice care and unlikely to survive the night. If this were actually happening, mainstream media and social media would be covering it immediately. Had to expand it here, so as it would be a major breaking news headline around the world. The lack of any sources or confirmed reports, along with the fact that it is a made-up story, doesn't help either.
Well, like lightning, as you read that, the New York Post just posted, and I'm giving you the link now, that Biden has had to reschedule due to COVID, and he's abandoning the re-election campaign, which we knew because he's not going to run. But so that's nothing really that important. But yeah, they did just post just that moment. So yeah, he's rescheduling things. But he's going to be coming back on Tuesday.
Supposedly.
So yeah.
Now,
So
I will
he'll be
say
there,
that
man.
I've seen some like really unbelievable things on Twitter as rumor the day before something serious does in fact happen.
Yeah.
So I'm interested what the next day or two will yield from this. If President Biden is fine and nothing's wrong with him, it would be because the rumor mill is so insane right now. It would behoove him to reassure the nation that he is still alive. You know what I mean?
Just do call, man. Just do a call to check in. Like, why can't you just do a
I don't
little,
think people
appearance?
trust calls anymore because of the whole AI thing. They want to see the man in front of a camera, and I get that.
He had 9 trips he had lined up, it says in this article. So
Yeah.
it has been, the COVID diagnosis has been a big deal for Joey. Throw corn pop. We love you, Joe. The
Yeah.
president's voice sounded raspy and slurred.
I guess
Damn,
those
NYPD.
14 boosters didn't help out too much.
Just needs another one. Just one more. Just
Yeah,
have another
that's
one.
what it was.
Another-
He didn't have his other booster in time.
He didn't have enough boosters. If you just keep on boosting, then you boost your life potential. So boost it up. Get another shot. Just strap it up, get another shot. You can go first. You go before me, though. So yeah, it's unclear if he's going to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But yeah, apparently tomorrow's the day we see Joe emerge, a bit like the groundhog. He's going to emerge, and he's going to tell us something new.
I'm going to go to
So,
my
yeah.
other favorite punching bag.
Oh, hog! It's time for a section on hog hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's he
hog hunting. There's this thing that apparently only people younger than me understand.
Oh, yeah.
And
Boomer alert.
this whole this whole Brat Summer thing and saying that Kamala is so Julia. Apparently this is reference to some song called 360. I actually listened to the song so I could listen to the lyrics. And first off, I thought the song was awful.
Why did you put yourself through this torture?
Because
man? What the
I wanted to try and understand the meaning of these phrases, and I watched the entire music video from start to end, and I left this music video still wondering what the hell these phrases were supposed to mean. And no one seems like super excited to explain to us boomers what this means. Because I've not found a clear definition of this yet. But he's made several posts with this. Like this one right here. You've heard of phone banking, but have you heard of brat banking? What does it mean, dude? What does it mean?
Banking.
Brat banking. What is brat banking?
This doesn't sound right. Hold on. Brat banking.
And he literally made a post earlier that he quoted something else and it just said, "She's so Julia." What does it mean?
Urban
Please.
Dictionary. Let's see.
I couldn't even find
I got it,
anything
I
on
got
the
it, I got
Urban
it.
Dictionary.
No, it just has like a generic definition. But no, a Julia is a woman that cares a lot. That can't be real. That's not the actual definition.
No way.
We can't be using Urban Dictionary. They don't use it anymore. We're not down with the kids, bro. No one uses Urban Dictionary anymore.
Yeah, and there's
That's
all
not-
these coconut tree references now. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Tree. Coconut tree. Well, is white. Coconuts emit. Shaking the coconut tree is to relieve rage. Is to let it all out. What?
I'm not kidding. I think
Why?
the coconut
It talks
meme
like
might
this.
legitimately lead to a record high Gen Z turnout. What does it mean?
Hold on. All right, hold on. We're gonna know your meme. What the fuck, man? All right.
Very confused.
So you're saying that Julia? What is it? Julia, yeah?
Yeah, like she's so
Or
Julia.
coconut tree? She's so
Or the
Julia.
coconut meme.
All right. She's so Julia. No entries. What the fuck, man? He's talking so cryptic. No one even knows. We don't know what Hog is on about at the moment. We've lost touch with Hog again. But after so long of trying to make contact, we're sending you a signal, Hoggy. Why will he never ever
doesn't
answer?
reply
He
to
just doesn't
anyone.
want to know.
He doesn't
Put
reply
the
to
tweets out and
anyone,
does
ever.
He never replies. Okay, so Brat economy, Brat, what is it? Brat love. They
Brat
love
banking.
something about Brat banking. Brat banking, right? Okay.
It's all a
It's
reference
interesting.
apparently
I
to
don't know.
this 360 song, and even listening to it, I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Why are we talking about it though? Like, why does it get to
Because
the
it's an
why
enigma to me. That's why. I want to
Okay.
know. I need to know what this
you
means.
want
It's become a little bit of
oh
an annoyance. It's my OCD breaking through.
okay. You want to know everything that David's saying and what he's saying, and you need to know, like, I
Yeah,
mean, most of the shit he says doesn't make any sense. Let's look through some of the
this is more
some of the posts
cryptic than
here.
the other word salad garbage that he says.
Oh, you think that you're finding a secret something, huh?
Maybe I'm
You're onto
learning
something
something.
here.
I'm learning something.
Ah,
Or trying
let's
to,
go through it. Who
but I'm
does
incapable of
VP
learning
shit
it.
and why? Yeah, dude, no, now you've got me. Scoop. I've been informed that Nancy Pelosi has been informed of the meaning of brat today. Dun dun dun. So there is a secret. It does have a meaning, but we're not allowed to know. Yeah, David posted 3 hours ago. I've been informed that Nancy Pelosi has been informed of the meaning of brat today. So I
Okay.
would imagine that it's an acronym for something that's going on. Yeah, here we go. Can confirm Dems are ready for a brat summer. I guess Kamala is brat. It's like did you look on his timeline? Scroll down to the chat. He's got a little screenshot of his iMessage. Yeah. Just go down a little on his there. Right?
I still don't know what it means.
Let's read it out. I guess Kamala is brat. You guess. It's a fact. Well, not being Gen Z, I'm confirming that she is. We're just behind, bro. We're so fucking boomer, we don't know. We just got to accept that we have no clue. We're losers.
It's an alien language. That's
I don't know what it means. I guess
still don't know.
Kamala is brat. Is it like their version of calling someone goated? Or like
I guess maybe that's the Gen Z version of saying goat or based or something. I guess. It's beyond me. Maybe things will evolve and I'll understand what the fuck we're talking about. But as of right now, I have no idea.
It's all over his timeline though. There's loads of posts. So yeah, we're clearly
that's why it's raised my curiosity because I keep seeing it.
we've got it. You just have to go down. You just have to scroll down a little further to the Democratic LT governors, Democratic lieutenant governors. Just scroll down a little below. I'll send you the link if you want. If you just keep scrolling down his timeline, you see it. It's a big green meme, and it says "Demo Brat." Yeah, keep going. It's below this Harris one here. That is the meaning of it.
Okay, but I still don't.
This.
Is that just another word for Democrat?
Decipher now. Well, you know, and we know that everyone calls them demon rats. And so these demo brats, they try to own us. Haha. We're brats. You can't call us a rat. Haha.
I mean, I guess they got us.
Fucking, you got everyone. I mean, yeah, there you go. So if you're against the Democrats now, you can not need to call them a demon rat anymore. You can call them a brat. And I guess so. I mean, that's my take on it. That's my 10 cents on it, my 20 cents on it. I don't really get it though. When you look at the replies, like everyone is like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, everyone's confused.
Bro, it's obviously an inside joke that we're not we're really not privy to, because looking at the replies, like some people get it, other people don't.
I guess you have to be a Democrat to understand.
You gotta be a Democrat to understand. You gotta be in the cool kids club. We're definitely not allowed. We're not invited. We're just showing up. We're crashing the party here. Yeah, demon rats, demo brats. Why would that be a thing though? Why would you want to call yourself a brat?
I don't know. My definition of brat and their definition of brat are apparently two different things. Because sometimes I call my child a brat and I don't mean it in an endearing way.
It's not really a term of endearment, is it? But they call themselves a bitch. Is this like another, like a boss bitch?
I guess.
Like, you know what I mean?
I know I'm getting old because I'm not understanding the phrases that people are using.
I don't have a fucking clue, bro. I'm just living, you know, I'm just getting through it. Yeah. Right. And then, so I have a link. I have one thing that is almost, that does tie into this. That is, let me get it. I have a link. I have something to show. I did bring something to the party. It is, okay. I got 3 things for you. And I guess then we're gonna wrap up, right? But yeah.
Yeah, we've been going for 2 hours. It's about 1 a.m.
Wow,
here on the
it's
East
starting to
Coast.
get there.
So
Oh, it's starting to get some length.
it's going to
starting to
make
get some
my
length.
6 a.m. wake up call might turn into a 7 a.m. wake up call.
Yeah.
What
Or
we got
just
here?
don't go to sleep.
Or just don't go to
I got a
sleep.
few things, man.
I'm old, man. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta have some sleep.
Now,
What we got here?
yeah.
Alex Phillips.
It's a post on X. Yeah, read it. Yeah, pull this one up.
Yeah. I pay the highest rated tax. I'm 40. I can't buy a house. I scrape to even pay London rent. The state gives me nothing. Yet new arrivals get social housing, child benefits, don't work, and thank me by burning buses and trashing the place. And on top of it all, for the tens of thousands I put into the system every year, the hundreds of thousands I have paid over the course of my life, I'm not even allowed to talk about it. I am gagged. I'm ignored. And yet, year after year, they turn to people like me to keep shelling out. I'm done. Well,
I hope that means she's gone. If she means she's done, she's leaving for America. Then,
well,
yeah.
you know, the
But
sad thing
otherwise,
is, in America, she's going to feel similar here. Maybe not as dire
as much.
not as dire as
Okay.
the UK, but I and many Americans feel very similar about things. When you look at the amount of taxes that you actually pay in America, I mean, the average American forks over somewhere between 30 and 40% of their income every year to various taxes.
I believe Brits is higher, 60, 70%. I know definitely, you know, that's why I came to Florida, is you're making huge savings.
Oh, without a doubt. But still, it's still too much. It's still too much.
No, yeah.
Taxation
Man,
is
don't get
theft.
me wrong. This needs to be, yeah, it needs to be lowered, but where is she going to go? Europe is also a poop shoot. So where is it, you know, in Canada, forget it. Canada is like the highest tax, right?
Oh yeah, Canada's completely off the charts. Let's see, you got us a YouTube video here.
And another got on YouTube, yep.
I don't know, but it kind of reminds me of when I'm working with the horses.
Yeah.
Just kind of space out for a minute and be like, wait a minute, what was I doing?
Okay, all right. It's not something that's ever happened to me. So I was like, why are we, yeah. Because disassociation, isn't it like you take ketamine or something? And then, are you sure you're not taking some of the ketamine when you're up with the horses? Take a little jab with the cat?
No. Wouldn't even know how, to be perfectly honest. I just kind of zone out because I get in my thing doing the daily routine with the horses and just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing other stuff now. They're my anxiety medicine. I love those horses.
The last one is Bidenomics, and this one I really like. This is Biden really giving a, yeah. Biden was.
Well, I believe that every American willing to work hard should be able to get a job no matter where they are. In the heartland, in small towns, in every part of this country, to raise their kids on a good paycheck and keep their roots where they grew up. That's Bidenomics. Well, I believe.
Well, it's not working.
You're not even gonna. You're not even gonna play the whole thing. Fuck it.
Oh, there's more.
It was such a load of bullshit. Yeah, just play it, man.
That every American willing to work hard should be able to get a job no matter where they are.
Just
in
listen
the
to the whole
heartland,
speech.
in small
you know,
towns,
like,
in every part of this country, to raise their kids on a good paycheck and keep their roots where they grew up. That's Bidenomics. Well, I believe that every American willing to work hard.
So yeah,
that's a good place to freeze that right there.
Yeah, ready to say something.
Ready to take it for the man.
Ready to let everyone know. So yeah, Joey, we don't know what's happened. We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's happening.
We're on.
We don't know if the rumors are true.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I'm sure. It looks like Roz Alerts is currently hosting a space right now, and that space is titled "Where the Hell is Joe Biden? Hospice: What We Know." And if you're interested in, since we're about to sign off, especially, if you're interested in knowing what some of the more independent journalists are saying and thinking about this entire situation, I would encourage you to go and check out Roz Alert's co-hosted Twitter Spaces. I find them to be pretty good. They do get a little emotional in there sometimes, but there's some good information to be gleaned from there. And make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, go over to our X and follow us on X, where there's a lot of cool things, a lot of things to save you money, and where we can speak our mind more freely. And we love X. We love X. But it is great to be able to simultaneously do the show on both YouTube and X. And I think that I definitely want to do more of these shows on both platforms in the future. I'm sure you do too, Paul.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. It's always a laugh.
Yeah.
It's always good fun.
Yeah. Usually we try to keep these around an hour to hour and 15 minutes. We've gone on for 2 hours and 15 minutes now, but it's been a great show and great talking about everything. And I'm sure that if something crazy develops tomorrow, we'll be back here to talk about it again and to make sure that you guys get the best information possible from two individuals who are just normal people like you trying to see their way through the world. And with that, if you have any questions when it comes to the Second Amendment and things of that nature, you can always send us a message at support@guncoyote.com and ask an expert. If we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer.
Right on.
And with that, we'll sign off. And thank you, Paul, for being a part of the show, as always.
Thanks.
And we'll be back very soon, guys. Thank you all for listening. Hope you have a great night. And go touch grass. Go spend time with your family. Go spend time with your children, especially. And like we were talking about earlier, please have that relationship with your children to where you know how they're feeling and what's going on in their world. That way, if something is wrong, you can intervene before something tragic happens. It's important to know that. You are the first line of defense in protecting your child's well-being. Please put down your distractions and pay attention to your children. It's the only thing that matters in the world at the end of the day is those children that you have. So pay them the attention that they need. And with that, you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining us on the show. We will see you next time on the Evening Constitution, brought to you by Gun Coyote.